Welcome to Curtis Goes Corner, coming to you from a secret underground base in occupied America. Well, guys, you're going to love this one. Biden administration expected to delay menthol cigarette ban. Possible anger from voters cited. Oh. Let's read on. We'll go through the half an hour's worth of lectures and how menthol cigarettes are the worst you can smoke, and a disproportionate amount of African Americans smoke menthols. That's because of the advertising directed toward them. There isn't any advertising, morons. But you know what, though? We're in a tight race next year. So for the next 10 months, anybody that dies because they say they're so terrible, it's just a price to pay for getting a Democrat elected. That's in essence what this is. I owned a convenience store for 22 years, so I know all about cigarette sales. Let's read on, and I'll tell you why this is absolute, total, 100% bull. The Biden administration may delay its controversial ban on menthol cigarettes again, with administrative officials citing political pressure that could harm the president's shot at re-election. That's young African-American voters. The block of African-American voters by polling shows that female African-Americans vote Democrat in extremely high numbers, 85, 90 percentile, whereas the male African-Americans, the Republicans are gaining ground rapidly. So they don't want to lose a little bit that they got already. Unbelievable. According to the Washington Post, the administration is expected to reveal on Wednesday that it plans to finalize new federal rules to remove menthol cigarettes from the U.S. market by March. Well, that's getting delayed because you know what comes up November 2024? Wait for it. The presidential election. We can't have blacks in the big cities not voting for Democrats. Don't you know that Democrats have their best interest? So if they're so harmful, menthol's so much worse than other cigarettes. But we're going to allow for the next 10, 11 months for several thousands of you, if you take them at their word how bad they are, to die as a price to pay for Democrats winning the White House. Holy crap. The rules are first expected to be finalized in August, but the administration later revealed they hope to complete the ban by January. However, they know that legal challenges will likely stall the ban from going into effect for several years. That's absolute horse. Do what they always do, what the Democrats always do. Submit a policy or a regulation they know is unlawful or unconstitutional, and then enforce it for a year or two before it gets to the courts and thrown out. That has been their mantra in their playbook for decades. They don't give a good damn about take several years in court. They care about the votes in really tight swing state races. Three officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the delay would come amid pressure from lobbyists and critics who warned that the ban may anger black smokers and negatively impact Biden's prospects in 2024. And there you have it. There you have it. It's amazing to me. They also admitted that the process to finalize the ban would be further delayed because of re-election pressures. I like that. Re-election pressures. Democrats have repeatedly expressed concern that Biden may see lower turnout from black and young voters in the upcoming election cycle, which means a lot of young black voters just can't vote for Donald Trump, but they'll be damned if they're going to vote for Biden. Unbelievable. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, black Americans smoke menthol cigarettes at a much higher rate than white Americans. It's a cultural thing. It's nothing to do with advertising, targeted ad, because there is no advertising anymore. It's a cultural thing. I was in a low-income neighborhood for 22 years in upstate New York, and a very high percent compared to the rest of the city of Hispanic and African Americans. And I sold a lot of menthol cigarettes. And I'll go into the story someday how the state of New York, because of their huge taxes on cigarettes, put me out of business. Because all the rest of the independently owned convenience stores were selling bootleg cigarettes under the table that they picked up from the Indian reservations at less than half the price, and making tons of money and keeping the sales tax on top of it and put in their pocket. But I couldn't, because I was targeted by the local county officials and state officials because I ran my mouth and they didn't like it. Supporters of the ban have claimed that removing menthol cigarettes from U.S. stores could save hundreds of thousands of American lives. But critics, including the American Civil Liberties Union, oh yeah, they're a bastion of righteousness, have warned that prohibition could lead to a formation of a black market. Ooh, let me do the... We're going to have guys on the corner going, yo, come here, man. I got some menthols. You need some? I got some menthols. You need some? Give me a break. Such a result, detractors say, may push police to target black smokers disproportionately. The local police will not arrest anyone for possessing unlawful menthol cigarettes. If they do, the mayor of that town and the police chief should be forced to resign. Unbelievable. It might target black people because of the ban. The ban is going to be on retail stores, which they won't enforce, of course, because a lot of small independent convenience stores are owned by non-whites. And their state of New York was catching a lot of bootleg cigarettes until they screamed racism, and so they stopped because they look bad. It's just amazing. Of course, I was targeted because I'm a white convenience store owner, so I was fair game. But I'll go into that story someday. Believe me, I will. However, officials have stressed that enforcement of the ban will focus on distributors, retailers, and manufacturers rather than customers. Very much like marijuana and weed. You can possess it, but selling it's against the law. And they say tens of thousands will die. Okay. How many are going to die in the next 10 to 11 months? If menthol cigarettes are really that bad, and we take your word for it, which is BS, we take your word for it, they're no more dangerous than any other cigarettes. We're going to let a few thousand people die, a small price to pay for winning the White House. The White House has been working behind the scenes to review the plan written by the Food and Drug Administration. Working behind the scenes, all they said was, geez, what are you doing? We're in a close election as it is. You want to piss off a whole bunch of African Americans in Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, you name it, LA. It's going to be tough enough. So let a few die, because we say those things are so harmful. It's a small price to pay for winning the White House. The FDA has explored a ban on menthol cigarettes for over a decade, initially proposed rules in April 2022. They told the Post they are committed to quickly issuing tobacco rules for menthol that can only fully discuss their contents once published. It's a secret, under double secret probation. Can't tell you what some of the rules we're going to issue until we put them all out. At the state level, California and Massachusetts have already banned the sale of menthol cigarettes. It's just, these guys, they shoot themselves in the foot, and they go round and round and round trying to repair it. We're going to look out for your well-being. We're going to ban menthol cigarettes because we care about non-white people. We care so much that we're going to go against every earmark of the Constitution to do it. Every time you prohibit something, it makes a black market. Look at prohibition. One of the biggest disasters, legally and constitutionally, amendment in the history of the country. The only amendment, by the way, ever to be repealed is the Amendment on Prohibition, which made, in today's money, billions and billions of dollars for bootleggers. The Kennedy family comes to name, and I'm not putting them down when I say that. If you want to make a lot of money bootlegging during Prohibition, God bless you. Oh, John, it's against federal law. It was stupid. In fact, the day that the Congress passed it to go to the states for ratification, over 50 cases of whiskey were delivered to the House of Representatives in Washington that day, after it was made illegal. And they would continue that way all the way through the 1920s and the early 30s. I think it was like 14 years was in place from 1920 to like 1934 or something like that. And then they said, well, let's think about going through Congress and repealing the act. And so the ones that were the anti-repeal people said, we're going to put a time limit on it. I think it was like 6 months or something for the states to ratify. And if 2/3 don't ratify in 6 months, the amendment stays in place. We got them now. It'll never be ratified for repeal in 6 months. I think it was like 3 months and it got repealed. It was immediate because it was the stupidest thing ever. Stupidest thing ever. Banning these things. You want to ban stuff? You know, look at a grocery store label of ingredients and all the stuff you have to have a master's degree in chemistry to figure out what the hell it is. Testosterone levels in men and boys are dropping dramatically in the last 2 decades. In the last 10 or 15 years, birth rates aren't even up to replacement rates. In other words, there are more people dying than being born in the United States and in the West. Why don't you worry about that? But you can't, though, because cigarettes are an easy target. It's like big oil and big tobacco. These people suck so bad. So we care about you, Biden says. We care about you, African-American voters. But you know what, though? We're going to delay it until after the election next year. So if a few thousand of you die from these horrible menthol cigarettes, oh well, but the White House is more important than your life. And that's in essence what they're doing. What do you think? Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.